Welcome to the Growth with AI podcast, hosted by Integrated AI Services. I'm Peter Martinson, and today's episode looks at how AI is reshaping creative strategy, content production, and brand storytelling. Our guest is Preston Maddox, a partner at Simmons Creative and Modern Stoa, where he helps brands communicate with clarity through video, design, and narrative-driven content. Preston's been integrating AI into the creative process, streamlining production, elevating ideation, and finding new ways to deliver high quality work at speed. We'll break down how AI is changing the way agencies craft stories, how creators can scale without losing authenticity, and what the future of content looks like as intelligent tools become part of the workflow. Preston, it's great to have you here.
It's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So tell me your story. How did you get started doing what you're doing now?
So my first job was in real estate media. I did that for a little while, and then I got started at On It around 2018. I was the editor for Aubrey Marx's podcast and the Brand podcast, and then I became the social media videographer, and then I became the brand videographer. And then about 3 years ago, I went out on my own, and over the past, I guess it was maybe about a year and a half or so. Me and the guys that we used to work together at On It all teamed up as part of Simmons Creative. We do high-end fitness and lifestyle video. And then I also am part of the Modern Stoa podcast studio team. I have my own podcast now, and we just had episode 1 the other day, and things are kind of kicking up at the studio. So yeah, that's all kind of keeping me busy right now.
Yeah, definitely sounds like it. So started doing, I think you said videography at a company in 2018.
Correct.
That was right before the big COVID shutdown. How did that affect your videography business?
Well, so I was with the brand, and we were a fitness brand, and at that time, we blew up. Like we were already doing really well, and so and then fitness at home workouts, that all kind of went pretty crazy during that time. And we did we were always having to be pretty creative about where and when we shot, but we just kind of worked around. We wore masks. We shot outside. We shot in my backyard a lot. I would shoot at the park. We'd go into the studio individually. So we just kind of worked around what needed to get done. But the driver behind that was the fact that fitness and especially at home workouts were just blowing up at the time. So just a story of right place at the right time.
Great. Okay. So it's awesome that you had the opposite effect that a lot of companies did where they shut down and had to. Nice. So you've built your career in video and with storytelling and brand content. So how and when did you first start looking at, if you did, AI within those video and storytelling, those creative workflows?
So there was a lot of interest around AI, and people that one of the people I work for just kind of like gave me a budget to just play around with it. And so I did spend a lot of time trying to get integrated into some of the solutions as far as like creating visual media. And I have varied opinions on a lot of this. For certain shots, it's really effective. So things that would require kind of an intense graphic design anyway don't really look out of place. So if I need to get a shot of a molecule or something that doesn't actually exist or something that I couldn't actually video or photograph myself, it's perfect for that. If I'm trying to do anything with people, it gets weird, and also a lot of that creative doesn't necessarily perform with people. Which is really like if we're talking about marketing, that's the thing that matters the most. Because like everybody has theories and what does and does not work, but like doing that is important. So on the visual side, that's kind of the limitation that I've run into, even though there's some large companies I've seen that make pretty effective ads that are AI. Like I saw something at the gas station the other day. It was just like a stock model, like standing there in a suit. And I could tell, like I just looked at it, it's like, oh, that looks like AI. And so, and that works. Like you don't really need to have a personal storytelling experience with that. That's really just a very direct and quick, like kind of thing. Where I have had a lot of use for AI in my own personal work is in a lot of the behind the scenes stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I use chat a lot, but kind of I use chat for what I feel like chat should be used for. And then we'll have to talk about my series. I finally figured out how to get chat to roast me. And that has been like a long battle. So that I should talk about that separately. But first, I'm going to talk about how I use AI in the business. So for a lot of like, it's really just a good partner for creative thinking. But a lot of times the creative side of ChatGPT is not very good. So it's just in a way like it eliminates a lot of choices that I might have thought of prior that just weren't a good decision. So I can, and when I see it out in front of me, they're like, oh, that's a bad idea. That's a bad idea. So just like prompting, like I was trying to prompt for script ideas for something. And so if I put that or I put the company's website in or and all this other stuff, it'll feed me a lot of talking points, but a lot of them aren't very good. So I end up having to, I've realized that one of the more effective ways is to integrate my own voice into the thinking process. And then
Mm-hmm.
that gives me better results. So if I'm trying to work a script out, I'll go to the site myself and I'll look at their social media and I'll really like, I'll still do the same work, but then I'll let chat compute all the notes. And so like giving it a bunch of information and letting it do stuff that has been like pretty effective for that. But like trying to say, hey, create this for me, pretty ineffective. And it's just a bunch of stuff that I would have thought up already, or like help me come up with this shot list for a supplement brand. Well, like we shoot those shots anyway. Like I know I need to get a shot of the bottle, and them putting the pills. Like those are just like, well, of course we do that. We do like 5 of those. There's just certain things that are integrated into the process that don't need to be spoken about. But chat is also really good for analyzing and summarizing things. So if we've had a meeting, I'll always like shove the notes in the chat and then like give me the bullet points, give me the things
Mm-hmm.
that we need to go through. Help me come up with a list of creative deliverables that we need to figure out for this client or for this situation. So pretty effective for that as well, but through like a accumulation of data. So that's been like the of my data, not just like accumulation of stuff but like of the stuff that I want it to focus on. I've realized that if I continue to work on something too much, the information starts to get worse.
Mm-hmm.
There's a certain point where it just like it kind of tapers off. And it's almost that I've fed it too much bad information or too much misinformation. This is my guess. I don't know. You could probably tell me otherwise. But I feel like the accumulative information includes things that are mistakes. And so it just like goes through that and can't tell like what's what at a certain point. But yeah, those are both are I would love actual AI that did super boring stuff. Like accounting, I would kill for that. Like it just like I just throw the like this pile of receipts and I could be like the lazy business owner I've always dreamed of instead of like what I do, which is, like going into whatever app and then like just the boring. I'm not an accountant. Like I mean, like that's not in my skill set. So yeah, that kind of stuff. Like I've looked at some of the tools, but not like really looked.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, all that kind of like background noise, task stuff. Like it's things that I really feel like should work. Like that's frustrating to me. Like they have a mileage tracker from one of the apps. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't track my mileage very accurately. It's just kind of like it's like you went from this trip to this trip, and it's just sorry, my cat wants to be part of the podcast. As soon as the laptop comes up, she thinks it's time for her to jump in. Maybe I should let her. But it's just like the side of some road. I don't even know where it's at. So I don't know what trip that was. And then it breaks the trip up into all this. Like I went to get gas. I didn't take a trip to the gas station. I'm going to work. Like what this is so unnecessary. So it just
Mm-hmm.
accumulates all this pointless noise. And it's just not as easy as me writing it in the book. And
Yep.
I feel like we should have gotten past that at this point with the things that we can do with computers. Like that should be sorted. I shouldn't have to think about this at all. And automating things and putting things on autopilot, I think are all like the ideal, I think, for pretty much any entrepreneur, just so you can have like headspace back. I feel like that's at a premium. My attention just being kind of diverted from task to task because
Mm-hmm.
things just come out throughout the day in the different things that I'm involved in. And so just being able to clear out some of that like extra chaos would be such a huge advantage. But instead it's like, watch us like make this spec ad for Liquid Death and then it's terrible. And I'm like, what are we doing?
So something I've noticed in the last couple of weeks is when I'm scrolling through LinkedIn, a lot of the videos are crashing now. And
Oh, really?
I don't know if that's I don't think it's my computer, but I don't know if that's ads created just solely from AI, and I don't know why they would crash LinkedIn, but I've
Yeah.
had a lot of issues recently with video ads in LinkedIn crashing my just going white and having like an error message.
That's probably a LinkedIn thing, but that does bring up a point about video size and video resolution that like I end up like talking to people a lot about.
Mhm.
Like at the podcast studio, everybody's shooting 4K now. And 4K for 3 cameras is about 120 gigabytes.
Hmm.
And so you stack that up over the podcasts, and we've been like having internet, like we're just like, how do we optimize the internet now? Because like everybody's doing 4K and they want their files sent to them. The thing is, the phone does not show anything remotely at that resolution. And this is coming from somebody who obsesses about maximum resolution. So that with that preface, a lot of stuff will be playing at like 720, 360p. And sometimes the higher you put it up, the more of a problem you're going to have potentially streaming it, depending on how the site is coded.
Hmm.
So people like trying to like optimize for that. Sometimes you end up over optimizing and just creating a problem. But
Interesting.
I don't know if that's the cause of that. That sounds like a LinkedIn thing. I think I saw someone else posting about it too. So
Oh, um, so it sounds like you want to use AI for the background admin stuff. You're not really using AI for the actual video and the pictures because you don't feel like it's there yet. But uh, are you making any creative trade-offs when you're working with clients? Are you finding that you're being asked to do stuff faster, or people assume that you can move faster because you got AI tools, and so you're having to make any kind of creative trade-offs at this point in time?
yeah, for sure, especially in the creative direction area. That is, I think that like people, and I get a lot of docs that I know was just somebody feeding the thing into chat. I think it's a misunderstanding of what is required in creative direction. It's kind of a what's the word for it? Just minimizing of it. It's actually pretty difficult work to get proper creative direction and to make sure that something sticks out, has a brand identity. It's easy to do wrong. I've seen it done wrong so many times. A lot of times I've gotten a doc that was clearly just a single prompt into chat, and then me and the client just rework the doc. So
Mhm.
I don't really need like that's not helpful. The like I can do the chat GPT part too. Like that's it's step one is not like where we get to. So but I think that people think that that is all that's going on. And so that has definitely been an increased part of my workload with pretty much any client. And a lot of that, like we take on ourselves anyway. And that's the ideal situation. But yeah, I think that's probably the key one there.
Interesting. So do you find that it takes you some more time to do that because the client comes to you with what they think that they should do, and you're like, no, it would have been easier and faster just to start over with a blank slate?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, pretty much. Or I've done things where I'll get the ideal situation. They send you the brand doc, and then like the fonts and the direction and the points and like all the stuff that you need to know to convey the messaging that they want to convey. But in the planning and execution portion, that's usually where we end up just having to kind of run with it. I've had to do that with a couple of fitness programs. Like the doc just didn't make sense to the trainer. And
Okay.
so we're just kind of sitting there at the gym, like, all right, I guess I guess we're gonna rewrite this doc. They're like, well, how would you do this? Like the training was like out of order. It was just sometimes I mean, people's specialty and expertise matters. And
Hmm.
I feel like their expertise in the same way I was making the point earlier about chat not being able to write a good script by itself, but being able to write a good script with my help. Like it's really powerful in the right hands and really novice in the wrong hands. Yes, like you can't. There's a certain talent gap that you still can't close, and I'm not sure at what point the in the gap theory, right? Everybody's like, it's just going to keep getting better, uh, but uh, but I don't know. I think it'll keep getting better until it hits a wall. Like most of this technology hits a ceiling at some point,
Yeah.
and that's just kind of how tech works. Like you just keep thinking it's going to get better and better and better, and it does, but then sometimes the better doesn't matter. like in video resolution. It depends the distance from which you're sitting from the screen. But K, 6K, 8K, it doesn't matter. Like you can't, your eye cannot perceive the difference in quality at a certain point.
Hmm.
So there's practical considerations that come into it. It's not just like the technological evolution factor. Like, okay, yeah, we increase the tech by X amount. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to have a direct correlation to actual output or anything like that. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, how much money has Amazon thrown at Alexa? And I still don't know anybody who actually buys their groceries or, toilet paper using Alexa, because that's just not what people want to do, right?
yeah,
And they have tried to improve that, and they have spent a lot of money on that. But yeah, I agree that improvements become asymptotic over time, and there's just a limit at which people just don't want to use something, and it's hard to force them to use something.
yeah. Just they're trying to like create a human behavior, and that's just not going to work. Like people are just going to do whatever they want to do. And then you can serve that, but that's also kind of a trend in our economy in general. We have a lot, this would be great for us but not for them, and then I don't think that's a good selling proposition. I think people are getting tired of that particular selling proposition of like, this is awesome for Amazon, like, so what about us? Like I think about like furniture assembly. I feel like when I was younger, like when I was a kid, like there's nobody would ever even consider putting together their own furniture. Like, are you serious? Or like security systems. Like the person came out, they put the security system in. And now both of those are like, install it yourself. And they sell this particular added workload as a feature of the product. And then at first it's at a discount, but people forget the previous standard, and then the discount disappears, and you're just doing the thing without the service now. Or you're buying furniture that's made of trash. It's like what's kind of the cheapification of the economy. Like what serves the company versus what serves the people. And that's a deeper conversation, but yeah, it's interesting how you if you try to serve people and you really try to meet their interests and take care of them, you're going to have a good business relationship with them. But that's not always how corporations think.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. So, I'm positive that you're watching the progression of AI photographs, or not photographs, AI images and AI video, because really that's only been a thing for a year or so. Do you think that in the next 6 to 12 months it will become good enough that it will compete with you, or that you'll be able to use it more for maybe for lower grade projects like that gas station ad, or do you think that it's just not going to get there because it doesn't have the human eye with everything you've got in your
so that there's a couple ways to approach this. The first, it's not a good enough question. I think that the technology is going to prove to be good enough to
Mhm.
fake people out like pretty quickly. It may already be there in certain elements. Um, so that's, I think the bigger question is whether AI continues to serve the creators. Because one thing that I'm definitely seeing is people don't want it. People don't want AI stuff in visual media, because I feel like they're missing the point. Like the point of visual media is people communicating human stories. It's
Mhm.
not tricking people into thinking something is going on. Uh, that's what people really want. Now, whether the other stuff is effective or not, like, that's a totally different conversation. But I do feel like AI is going to start becoming a trust is going to be the real currency. And so if your brand doesn't have trust, they're not going to buy from you. And
Yep.
or they're going to buy from you only in a very like transactional manner. So creating trust is not done with visuals that can be made in a computer and prompted. It's just not done with that. And a lot of these things that were novel are probably going to become less novel, like all the Bigfoot stuff and all the like old people like talking. Like no one's going to care. Everybody is going to see that ad over and over and over again. So it's not going to catch your attention like it would have before. So I think authentic storytelling and personal stories, and then more importantly, the certificate of authenticity, knowing that this is an actual person telling an actual thing. That's going to end up being the premium, the premium. All the big brands are going to do that. And I think that like the AI will, that there's just going to be easy plug and play stuff, and a lot of like designers will lose their job. But I think that where AI is really going to take off in visual media is when it becomes a tool for the creator, in the manner of which like doing easier VFX stuff, or creating sets, or like allowing like further creativity but using actual human elements. So friends like filming themselves and all the green screen stuff they do, and it actually looks real. So then like you're going to have high school kids like coming up with like super cool stories, and like that'll be a real democratization of media in general. And I think that's great. But really, like me and a friend of mine, the more we both said the same, agreed on the idea that the more we see visual AI, the less worried we are about it. At first we were really concerned, and now it's like, and then it gets better and better and better. It's like, there's a one of the supplement brands that I've done a little bit of work with. I've worked with one of their influencers for a while, and their brand video is AI, and it's the best AI video I've seen. Period. And so I just looked at it, and they have backing. They have like really high profile people. They have a really good product. I mean, like everything's in place. The performance on it is not great,
Hmm.
and so and
Uh,
then the other like
like
it's
getting likes or
yeah,
something. Okay.
likes, views, response, like all the metrics that you would track performance with that are available to me. I don't know
Hmm.
what their internal metrics are, but not very good. Like comparative to other brands and other, and you know that they had to put money behind it, so the view count should be a little higher. Um, and it was cool. Like the video was cool. It was good. But
Hmm.
I think that like as those things become more commonplace, people are going to care less. The novelty is going to wear off. And then like what people are really craving right now is connection and community. And if you look
Hmm.
at the way the younger generations act, they don't even get on their phones. Like we're going to be rethinking all kinds of stuff like relatively soon in the world of marketing, especially if people that internet theory style stuff where it's just bots chatting with bots. Like nobody's going to want to do that.
Yeah,
No
I
one wants
agree.
to be the, like who wants to be the dummy, like arguing with a bot on Facebook? You know what I mean? Like no one wants to do that. That's embarrassing.
Oh, wow. Well, I tell you what, that sounds like a great place to start wrapping up. A really neat conversation. So, yeah, so to wrap up, what do you want people who might hire you to know about you and the two different companies that you run?
The Simmons Creative, the thing to know about us is that we just know the game, and we work with people and elevate their brand and their look. We're like a super easy turnkey solution to pretty much anything you want to do as far as video and photo and media production. With Modern Stoa is just super cool. Like we're kind of like feel like we're the beginning of a little like cultural moment, not cultural moment, but like cultural corner
Mhm.
with a lot of like entrepreneurs and wellness people, health and wellness. And it's just really cool to be part of that at the ground level and watching everything come together. So that's really exciting. It's really exciting potential for my personal and career growth.
And then Modern Stoa is based in Austin, Texas, right? And that's a podcast studio that is available for rent.
Yes, yes, it's available
Okay.
for rent. We have monthly subscriptions. We're right next to Squatch Fitness. You also get to have the amenities when you show up. So you can do the sauna and the cold plunge. You can work out at the gym. You can go to the co-working space, all for free or all included with the podcast studio rental. So
Okay. So
pretty
if
cool
you
deal.
live in Austin and you want to do a podcast, then Modern Stoa is definitely a place that you should think about.
Yes, yeah. Ask us first.
But well, Preston, this has been a great conversation. I appreciate you joining the show, and I hope to talk to you again sometime.
Yeah, thank you, Peter. Appreciate it, man.
All right, take care.